Civil Services One. I'm your host Ignis, and you are listening to our community podcast Understanding Bharat, where we entangle the threads of India's rich tapestry of governance, polity, and society. From the quirky to the consequential, we deep dive into the issues that shape our nation. Whether you're a policy geek, a curious citizen, or just here for the ride, sit back, grab your chai, and let's unravel the Bharat that binds us together, making democracy a little more delicious one episode at a time. I am excited to kick off our journey with the bedrock of Indian governance, the Indian constitutional framework. As we explore the grand narrative of the Indian Constitution, our ultimate guidebook to governance. Let's start at the beginning. How did this grand design come to life? After independence in 1947, India needed more than just a government. It needed a guiding framework to unify its diverse population. And this mammoth task was taken up by the Constituent Assembly, the visionary architects of the Indian polity. They gathered to craft a document that would be the cornerstone of Indian democracy, drawing inspirations from various global sources. They meticulously pieced together elements from British parliamentary traditions, American federalism, Irish principles, and many more to create a cohesive framework, ensuring that the Constitution would be both comprehensive and adaptable. And on January 26, 1950, the Constitution was officially adopted. And this date became our Republic Day. This was not just the formal implementation of laws, but a moment of national pride, symbolizing the birth of India as a sovereign republic. What is interesting is that the Constitution was designed to be a living, breathing document, one that could adopt and evolve. It was like planting a tree that would grow with time, its branches extending to accommodate new challenges. So let's break down the blueprint of our Constitution. The Constitution is divided into parts, which contain articles. Originally, it had 395 articles spread across 22 parts. Today, it has 470 articles in 25 parts. Each article is like a piece of the puzzle, detailing various aspects of governance and rights. The Constitution starts with the preamble. It's like the opening paragraph of an epic saga. It declares India a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, setting the tone for everything that follows. It is a declaration of the core values and aspirations that guide the nation, enshrining the values of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Now, just as a building stands on strong foundation stones, a democratic society stands on the bedrock of fundamental rights. These are rights guaranteed to all citizens, and they form the core of individual liberties. The fundamental rights are justiciable, and they include right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and the right to constitutional remedies. Similarly, on the other hand, like any machinery, our Constitution comes with an instruction manual for the citizens, the fundamental duties. But unlike fundamental rights, these duties are not legally enforceable, but are intended to promote a sense of responsibility and citizenship. Enshrined in the Part 4A of the Constitution, these duties were added by the 42nd Amendment in 1976. But what about the duties or instructions for the government? This is covered by the Directive Principles of State Policy. Similar to a detailed blueprint for a city's expansion, Directive Principles of State Policy outlined in Part 4 of the Indian Constitution are guidelines for the government to establish a just and equitable society. While they are not justiciable, they serve as an important policy directive that the government should strive to implement. Now let's look at some of the constitutional values that form the core of this grand document. Firstly, federal structure. It is designed to balance power between the central government and individual states, ensuring a unified yet diverse nation. The Indian Constitution divides powers between the union government and the state government into three lists. The union list contains subjects on which only the central government can legislate. The state list covers areas for state legislation, and the concurrent list includes subjects where both can legislate. Secondly, separation of powers. This is a fundamental principle designed to prevent the concentration of power in any one branch of the government and to ensure a system of checks and balances, where the President as the head of state and the Prime Minister as the head of government represent the executive. They are responsible for implementing the laws. The legislature, comprising the Rajya Sabha or Council of States and the Lok Sabha or House of People, makes these laws. The judiciary, headed by the Supreme Court, interprets laws and adjudicates disputes. And lastly, the amendment process. The amendment process in Indian polity is designed to allow for changes and updates to the Constitution to reflect evolving needs and circumstances. The process is outlined in the Article 368 of the Indian Constitution. In a nutshell, the Indian Constitution is not just a set of rules. It's the backbone of our democratic system. It integrates diverse elements into a cohesive government framework, guiding India's journey as a nation. It's a living document that adapts and evolves, making sure the rule of law and justice don't just sit on a dusty shelf. So next time you hear someone call it a dynamic document, remember, it's not just a fancy title. It's our democracy's secret sauce. And with this, we wrap up our first episode of Understanding Bharat. I hope this story of the Indian Constitution has provided clarity and insight into its crucial role in Indian governance. This is your host Ignis signing out. Curious to explore more? Stick around. Until then, keep learning and stay curious. Jai Hind.
Hello all, welcome to our podcast series. I am your host Arjuna. In this series, I'll bring some crucial highlights of economic survey which is recently tabled in the parliament. So this would be the first session on what do we understand by the term economic survey. The Economic Survey of India, it is an annual document of Ministry of Finance, Government of India. The Department of Economic Affairs under the Ministry of Finance presents the survey in the Parliament every year just before the Union Budget. It is prepared under the guidance of Chief Economic Advisor of India. You may want to name the Chief Economic Advisor in the comment section, please. So this document is presented to both the Houses of Parliament during the budget session. So the first economic survey of India was presented as a part of Union Budget. Please comment the year when it was presented for the first time. After 1964, it was separated from the budget and presented each year during the budget session. Do you know the word budget is nowhere mentioned in the Constitution? Please comment the name which is mentioned in the Constitution along with the article number. The economic survey is non-binding, nevertheless it is constructed and presented each year due to its significance. An economic survey is a detailed report that analyzes the various aspects of an economy. It provides insights into the economic performances, trends and forecasts based on the range of indicators. Here are some key components typically included in the economic survey. First, economic overview. This section provides a summary of the current state of economy, including GDP growth rates, inflation, unemployment rates, and other vital economic indicators. Second, sectoral analysis. This examines the different sectors of the economy, for example, agriculture, manufacturing, and services, etc., to understand their contributions to the overall economic performance and any emerging trends. Third, fiscal policy. This section helps in the analysis of government spending, taxation, and budget deficits or surpluses. It may also cover the fiscal reforms and their expected impact. Fourth, monetary policy. This involves the review of central bank policies, interest rates, and money supply. The survey might analyze how these policies are affecting inflation and economic growth. Fifth, trade and external sector. This section helps in insights into the trade balances, export and import trends, foreign direct investment, and the impact of global economic conditions on the domestic economy. Sixth, employment and labor market. This section covers the trend in employment, wages, labor force participation, and skill mismatch. This section might also cover the labor market policies and their effectiveness. Seventh, inflation and price trends. It includes analysis of the inflation rates, key drivers of the price changes, and their impact on purchasing power and cost of living. Eighth, economic forecast. It showcases the projections for the future economic performance, including growth forecast, expected inflation rates, and potential risk. Ninth, policy recommendations. Based on the analysis, the survey might suggest policy measure to address current economic issues or to stimulate growth. Last but not the least, 10th, challenges and risk. This section covers identification of potential risk to the economy such as geopolitical tensions, financial instability, or natural disaster. In essence, an economic survey helps us understand where our economy stands and where it might be heading. It guides in decision making and helps craft policies aimed at fostering economic stability and growth. So thank you for your attention. For more such content, you can visit our channel, you can like it and subscribe it. All the very best.
From ancient poems to timeless songs, from evocative scenes in movies to the heart of countless stories, rain has always been a muse, inspiring artistry and reverence. It is the lifeline that nourishes our lands and hearts alike, a celestial dance that rejuvenates the very essence of life. As monsoon arrives, it brings with it not just water, but a symphony of renewal and joy. A season where every droplet tells a tale of rebirth and vitality. Given its profound impact, it only makes sense that our inaugural creation is dedicated to this wondrous phenomenon. Hello and namaste everyone. Welcome to Srijan India One's community podcast series. I'm your host Morning Star, and in this series I'll bring to you some fascinating topics from geography and environment. Today, we pay tribute to one of the most enchanting and life-giving phenomena of our planet, rain. At the end, there will be a question on the same topic which you can answer either in the comment section or on the discuss handle of our official website. So, let's begin. First of all, what is rain and how does it occur? Rain is water droplets that have condensed from atmospheric water vapor and then fall under gravity. It is a major component of the water cycle and is responsible for depositing most of the fresh water on Earth. It provides water for hydroelectric power plants, crop irrigation, and suitable conditions for many types of ecosystems. Rain forms when water vapor in the atmosphere cools and condenses into water droplets. These droplets combine to form clouds. When the droplets become too heavy to remain suspended in the air, they fall to the earth as rain. This process is part of the water cycle, which includes evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. Now, what are the different types of rain? Well, rain can be categorized into three main types: convectional, orographic, and frontal. Convectional rain occurs when the sun heats the earth's surface, causing air to rise and cool, leading to precipitation. Orographic rain happens when moist air is forced to ascend over a mountain range, cooling and condensing as it rises. Frontal rain occurs when two air masses, one warm and one cold, meet, causing the warm air to rise over the cold air and condense. So, what are the impacts of rain on different seasons? See, rain affects each season uniquely. In spring, it promotes the growth of new plants and replenishes water sources. In summer, it cools the air and provides relief from heat. In autumn, it helps in the harvesting of crops. During winter, especially in tropical regions, it can cause cold spells and increase humidity. For India, it is especially crucial during the monsoon season, when it replenishes rivers, fills reservoirs, and supports agriculture. However, it can also lead to challenges such as landslides and urban flooding. Now, considering the phenomena of climate change, how are rains being impacted by it? Incidentally, climate change is intensifying the rainfall patterns, making wet areas wetter and dry areas drier. This shift leads to more frequent and severe weather events. For example, the landslides in Wayanad in July 2024 and the cloudbursts in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand and the urban flooding in Delhi all underscore the devastating impacts of these changes. These incidents result in tragic accidents and significant loss of life and property. But really though, if it causes such tragedies, then why exactly is rain essential? And what happens in its absence? Well, rain is vital for replenishing freshwater resources, supporting agriculture, and maintaining ecosystems. Its deficiency can lead to droughts and famines, severely affecting food security and water availability. Prolonged dry spells can devastate crops, reduce water supply, and trigger economic and social challenges that have a long term impact on the generations to come. So, in that case, what measures can be taken to manage rainwater and prevent flood damage? See, to manage rainwater, techniques such as rainwater harvesting can be employed. This involves collecting and storing rainwater for later use, reducing dependence on groundwater and preventing runoff. Preventive measures for excessive rains and floods include constructing robust drainage systems, building embankments and levees, and implementing early warning systems. On a larger scale, urban planning should incorporate green spaces and permeable surfaces to absorb rainwater, mitigating the risk of urban flooding. Conclusively, we can firmly say that rain, with all its beauty and challenges, remains an integral part of our existence. Understanding its dynamics and impacts helps us appreciate its importance and prepare for its effects. Finally, here's the question for today. Discuss the impact of climate change on the monsoon patterns and the resultant socio-economic effects. Feel free to share your structured answer in the comments or on the discuss handle of our official website in about 250 words. Thank you for joining me today and stay tuned for more insights and updates. This was your host Morningstar, guiding you through the dawn of knowledge in geography and environment. Have a great day everyone. Adios.
In this digital era, the semiconductor industry, often referred to as the brain behind the modern technology, plays a pivotal role in shaping our digital lives, from smartphones and data centers to electric vehicles and artificial intelligence. Semiconductor powers it all. India, with its burgeoning market and skilled workforce, is making significant strides in the critical sector. Let's dive into the India's semiconductor journey, its progress, key players, and expected impact of technology adaptation. India currently accounts for 5% of the global demand for semiconductor, a figure projected to double by 2026. Factors driving this surge includes increased smartphone adaptation, consumer application, and emerging trends like self-driving cars. India's proactive stance has been instrumental in fostering semiconductor growth. Initiatives like Make in India campaign and the India Semiconductor Mission have incentivized both domestic and foreign companies to establish manufacturing facilities within the country. Let's dive into its progress and challenges. India boasts a strong presence in the design functioning of the semiconductor value chain. Approximately 20% of the global talent in chip design resides in India, with 50,000 professionals contributing to cutting-edge innovation. Major semiconductor giants like Intel, AMD, Qualcomm have established their largest research and development centers in India, leveraging local engineering expertise. However, India faces a significant challenge when it comes to manufacturing. While design capabilities thrive, other critical phases such as fabrication, assembly, test, and packaging requires substantial development. India must start from scratch to build a robust manufacturing ecosystem. Some key players want to engage with India to tag along its requirement. Micron, a US major, recently announced a nearly $3 billion investment in the assembly and test facility in Gujarat. Foxconn, a Taiwanese tech giant, initially planned a $19.5 billion joint venture with India's Vedanta for chip manufacturing, but later withdrew. Despite this setback, other companies are exploring opportunities in India. Some of the domestic champions are also looking forward for its role. Tata Group, TCS or Tata Consultancy Services is actively involved in semiconductor design and engineering services. HCL Technologies collaborates with global semiconductor companies, contributing to product development and design. A robust semiconductor ecosystem will boost India's manufacturing sector, contributing to product development and design. A robust semiconductor ecosystem will boost India's manufacturing sector, contributing significantly to GDP growth. Job creation across various skill levels, from engineering to technicians, will enhance employment opportunities. This would help in reducing dependence on imports, ensuring strategic autonomy and strengthening national security. India's ability to manufacture critical components domestically enhances resilience. A thriving semiconductor industry fosters innovation, leading to breakthroughs in AI, IoT, and 5G, research and development centers driving technological advancements. Compounding ecological perspective also awaits the progress here. Electric vehicles, renewable energy, and efficient data centers rely on advanced semiconductor, which could also boost India's adoption of green technologies, aligning with global sustainability goals. Yet, it can be challenged when observed from the amount of electronic waste produced over times. These waste issues could be resolved by means of legal and administrative implementation of extended producer responsibility, which entrust a sustainable mechanism for waste management to the producers themselves, maintaining an ecological equity. Recently, NVIDIA created a chip named Blackwell that holds immense capability performing highly complex tasks, including training of AI to research and development with utmost efficiency. So, question for the day: do you think India needs to scale up its ambition on semiconductors? Suggest some ways that can aid India's successful venture into the semiconductor industry. For more such videos and content, follow your host Atish at Srijan India One. Until next time, stay safe and stay informed.
Welcome to Heritage Chronicles, the podcast where we explore the rich cultural and historical landmarks of India. I am your host, Falcon, and today we are diving into the fascinating story of the Konark Sun Temple, a UNESCO World Heritage Site located in Odisha. The Konark Sun Temple, also known as the Black Pagoda, was built in the 13th century by King Narasimha Deva I of the Eastern Ganga dynasty. This architectural marvel is dedicated to the Hindu sun god Surya and is designed to resemble a colossal chariot with 12 pairs of intricately carved stone wheels drawn by 7 galloping horses. One of the most striking features of the temple is its detailed carvings. The walls are adorned with sculptures depicting various aspects of life, including deities, dancers, musicians, and scenes from daily life. These carvings not only showcase the artistic brilliance of the time, but also provide a glimpse into the cultural and social life of the era. The temple's wheels are not just decorative, they also function as sundials, showcasing the advanced knowledge of astronomy and engineering of that period. Each wheel has 8 spokes representing the 8 stages of a woman's day, and the shadows cast by these wheels can tell the time of day with remarkable accuracy. Despite the passage of time and the ravages of nature, the Konark Sun Temple stands as a testament to the ingenuity and devotion of its creators. Although large parts of the temple have been damaged, the remaining structure continues to inspire awe and reverence among visitors from around the world. Built by the king Narasimha Deva I of the Eastern Ganga dynasty in the years around 1250, this 13th century temple is dedicated to the Hindu deity Surya. It is situated on the coast of Odisha and about 35 kilometers northeast of Puri. The Sun Temple at Konark was called Black Pagoda by the European sailors because it appeared as a giant black tiered tower from the Bay of Bengal. Similarly, the Jagannath Temple at Puri is mentioned as White Pagoda in the accounts of the early European sailors during the 16th to 17th century. Now, let us discuss some facts about Konark Sun Temple. In 1984, it was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. On the reverse side of the Rs 10 denomination note, a picture of the Konark Sun Temple is depicted. In the month of February every year, many Hindu pilgrims gather here for the Chandrabhaga Mela. It is often called Surya Devalya as well. Konark, together with Puri and with Bhubaneswar, completes the Golden Triangle of Odisha, which is a major pilgrimage route for the Hindus in the state of Odisha. It was originally constructed at the mouth of the river Chandrabhaga, which has since then receded. Konark Sun Temple represents the Kalinga style of architecture. The face of the temple faces east so that early rays of the sun fall on the main entrance of the temple. It is built using condylite rocks, which are a subtype of metamorphic rocks. The temple has 12 wheels in two rows, each totaling 24 around the temple, which represents sundials and could be used to determine the time precisely to minute. In the late 18th century period, a monolith called Aruna's Thumb was removed from the Konark Sun Temple and installed on Lion's Gate of Puri's Jagannath Temple by a Maratha brahmachari named Goswami. The temple has been destroyed many times, and factors are attributed to nature and war activities by Muslim invaders. The assembly hall of the temple, also called Jagmohan in the Odisha, was filled with sand and closed by the British in the year 1904 to stop it from completely collapsing. This assembly hall is the center of the temple as it connects the entrance with the Sanctum Sanctorum. Recent developments are Archaeological Survey of India has recently proposed to open the temple and remove the sands from the Jagmohan of the temple. Multiple carvings will be done on the walls and floors of the temple to enable access of the inside of the temple to the workers who will in turn remove the sand. After removing the sand, Archaeological Survey of India will use modern technology to stabilize the structure. In this restoration of Konark Sun Temple, the Archaeological Survey of India will be assisted by a team from IIT Madras. Thank you for tuning into Heritage Chronicles. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Stay tuned for our next episode where we will uncover more hidden gems of India's rich cultural tapestry. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.
From Civil Services 1, I am your host, Voyager, and today we shall talk about 78th Independence Day. To fully appreciate the importance of the event, let us first teleport to the very day, or in this case, the midnight itself. 15th August 1947, India finally redeemed the pledge, a tryst with destiny when she awoke to life and freedom at the stroke of the midnight hour. A fledgling political entity, India was riddled with the scars of centuries of colonial exploitation. The exuberance of entering into a new epoch was stained with the blood of the partition. Social tensions, political uncertainty, and economic stagnation were just few of the massive roadblocks that posed a serious challenge to fulfilling the dream of wiping every tear from every eye. Yet, India dreamt. India dreamt to give reality to her dreams and ensure that the long-suppressed soul of the nation finds utterance. The task at the hand was monumental. Multiple voices of dissension echoed across the states. Concerns and fears about autonomy and assimilation could be witnessed in the peripheries. The haphazard drawings of agreements in the English boardrooms left India alone and helpless to face the aftershocks and debts of their wrongdoings. It was the need of the hour to fix the hodgepodge of party-struck political and territorial units and then integrate them respectfully into a diverse monolith of values of a great nation India was about to become. Over 550 princely states, extremely poor domestic savings amounting to less than 3% of GNP, an overwhelming 80% of population involved in primarily rural activities, life expectancy hovering around 30, the literacy rate at an abysmal 12%, and the political franchise, which was only available to 15% in 1939 and 40, which is few of the many serious challenges standing in the way of the future Indian story. Thus, India's condition could be best witnessed or seen through the words of Rabindranath Tagore, who wrote in 1940s, "The wheel of fate will someday compel the English to give up their empire. But what kind of India will they leave behind? What stark misery! When the streams of their centuries' administration run dry at last, what a waste of mud and filth will they leave behind them." Despite all these challenges, India had the vigor and zeal to give reality to the dreams. There was a consensus on the goals, which was a result of the spirit of nationalism and a stable political system, which eventually helped out bring the largest constitution in the world. A democratic polity based on universal adult franchise had social implications far beyond its political significance, as many social groups previously unaware of their strengths realized that they were in a position to wield power. Further, the impetus to economic self-sufficiency and a fillip to overall human capital development, owing to the setting up of various projects, hydropower plants, irrigation projects, educational institutes, and other temples of modern India, laid down the foundation for the future generations to reap the benefit of a better life. Backed by the strong values and institutions and a vision to build a prosperous and inclusive India, she is right on her way to move to the Amrit Kal. This is best reflected in the theme for the 78th Independence Day, Viksit Bharat. This theme reflects the government's goal of transforming India into a developed nation by 2047, which will mark the 100th year of independence. The aims of Viksit Bharat closely lie in the marriage of inclusive and sustainable development. The idea is rooted in the constitutional values that help this nation thrive on democratic wisdom, providing justice, social, economic, and political, with the liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. The theme highlights a commitment to build a prosperous and inclusive India and to celebrate its rich history, all the while embracing modern achievements. It emphasizes the vision of a strong, thriving nation where everyone has the opportunity to succeed. To kindle the spirit of commitment to the dream of developed India, Viksit Bharat encourages the citizens, the departments, and various other institutions to participate in various programs like the nationwide tree plantation drive. Viksit Bharat also focuses on comprehensive progress in areas like infrastructure, technology, education, and healthcare. The aim is to boost India's global status and ensure that every citizen benefits from economic growth and social progress. While the road ahead is not easy, surely it has a lot of bumps, but a growing GDP is coupled with economic disparities. India still is languishing in the bottom halves of various indicators like Human Development Index, per capita income, etc. etc. However, it is important to remember the dream and thus back on the legacy of our values that helped us overcome even the bigger odds. It is this India which aims to hold her head high and march forward toward the Amrit Kal. The trinity of democracy, and diversity has the potential to fulfill every dream of India. What we have to do is to believe that we, with our efforts, consciousness, and energy, can make India a beacon of light and hope as a responsible partner in the growth of the world. The roadmap of Viksit Bharat to move into the Amrit Kal will ultimately be a testimonial of the success of dreams and values, which reflects the hopes of all those in the world who dare to dream big, fight for the right, and believe in the universal spirit of good in the world. Thank you.
Welcome to the Time Travels with Unicorn, the podcast where history comes alive. Today, we are journeying back to one of the earliest and most fascinating civilizations in human history, the Indus Valley Civilization. Imagine walking through a bustling streets laid out in a perfect grid over 4,000 years ago. That's right, the Indus Valley, today part of modern-day Pakistan and northwest India, was home to one of the world's first urban centers. Cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro were not just advanced for their time, they were revolutionary. Now let's talk about the people of the Indus Valley. Imagine a society so progressive that they had 1 or 2-story buildings. Also, grid system in the houses. They had their private wells and separate bathrooms. And a sophisticated drainage system. Yes, each house in Mohenjo-daro was connected to a centralized drainage system. And while we are strolling through these ancient streets, let's talk about their economy. The Indus people were master traders. They had a thriving trade network that reached as far as Mesopotamia. They traded goods like cotton textile, pottery, and beads made from precious stones. But what's truly remarkable? Their script, called Bostrofedon, with 400 symbols in it. Despite numerous attempts by scholars, the script found on seals and pottery remains undeciphered to this day. What secret might it hold about their life and beliefs? Any thoughts on what breakthrough we might see if we crack that code? Speaking of the beliefs, let's delve into their culture. Unlike other ancient civilizations, there is little evidence of places or large monuments suggesting a society that might have been more egalitarian than hierarchical, a rare find in ancient history. They also had a strong emphasis on fertility. We have found number of terracotta figurines of women showing a plant growing out of the embryo of a woman. From this, we can understand that people of Indus Valley used to worship Mother Earth. The Indus Valley civilization offers us a glimpse into an ancient society that was incredibly advanced and perhaps ahead of its time in terms of urban planning and societal organization. Now the question arises, what led to the decline of such a well-organized civilization? There are a number of theories about it. Some say that climate change was the reason, and some say the shifting of the course of Indus and Ghaggar was the reason. Perhaps even the invasions. We are still piecing together the puzzle, but each hypothesis teaches us something valuable about resilience and adaptation. As we wrap up today's journey, think about what life was like on those well-laid streets of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. It's a testament to the ingenuity of our ancestors, whose innovations still amaze historians and archaeologists alike. Thank you so much for tuning into the Time Travels with Unicorn. I hope this dive into Indus Valley civilization has sparked your curiosity and enriched your knowledge for ancient history segment. Till then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep learning. Until next time, keep the past alive in your thoughts and discussions.
When a diplomat says yes, he means perhaps. When he says perhaps, he means no. And when he says no, he's no diplomat. Hello, bonjour, namaste everyone. I am your host, Mr. Diplomat, and welcome to Srijan India One's community podcast, a space where we shall unravel the mysteries and intricacies of international relations. Get ready for a journey through the fascinating world of international relations, where we will dive into India's neighbors, foreign policy strategies, and much more. So, buckle up because we are about to embark on an exciting adventure through the ever-evolving landscape of global politics. But before we begin, what is international relations? International relations, or IR, is all about the drama, alliances, and power plays on the global stage. It's the study of how countries interact, whether they're shaking hands or crossing swords. This field explores everything from trade deals and peace talks to security alliances, human rights, diplomacy, and the complex dance of national interests. Think of IR as a grand chess game where each move is calculated and every decision has far-reaching consequences. In today's interconnected world, understanding IR is more important than ever. The dynamics of global politics are constantly shifting, influenced by economic trends, technological advancements, and cultural exchanges. How various partners come together to address modern challenges like terrorism, climate change, and global health crises is crucial for maintaining international stability. India, as the largest democracy and the fifth largest economy, is a major player in this global game. With a population of 1.4 billion people, the country promises a significant demographic dividend. Its youthful population is not only a potential workforce, but also a vibrant market for global businesses. India's foreign policy has evolved over time, shaped by its rich history from the days of colonial rule and the fight for independence to the non-alignment movement of the 1960s. The economic boom post-1991 liberalization, privatization, and globalization reforms marked a significant turning point, enabling India to engage more assertively on the global stage. Today, the self-reliant spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat post-COVID-19 pandemic emphasizes India's commitment to economic independence and resilience. India's unique position in the world is defined not just by its economic and political clout, but also by its geographical location. As the old saying goes, you may choose your friends, but you can't choose your neighbors. Therefore, our relations, or the lack thereof, with neighboring countries assume paramount significance vis-à-vis our national interests, whether it's about diplomacy, trade, or security. Are you curious about India's dynamic relationships with its neighbors? Want to know what's cooking between India and Bangladesh in trade? Or perhaps how India manages its borders with China and Pakistan? In the upcoming episodes, we will delve into our neighbors' cultural fabric, economies, military cooperation, and a lot more. For instance, India shares a complex relationship with China, characterized by both competition and cooperation, particularly in trade and regional security. With Pakistan, historical tensions continue to shape diplomatic interactions, while India's ties with Bangladesh have strengthened significantly, especially in areas like trade and water-sharing agreements. We shall also explore India's role in global organizations, its strategic partnerships with major powers, and how it navigates the complex web of international diplomacy. India's membership in forums like the G20, BRICS, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization highlights its commitment to multilateralism and regional stability. Whether you're a seasoned IR enthusiast or just beginning to explore the field, this podcast is your gateway to understanding the world through the lens of India's foreign policy. Before we sign off, here's a fun fact. Did you know that the word diplomat comes from the Greek word diploma, which means folded paper? Initially, it referred to official documents or letters of credentials used by envoys in ancient times. Today, it symbolizes the delicate art of negotiation and communication between nations. Don't forget to drop your thoughts and comments below. We'd love to hear what topics you're interested in and any questions you might have. Until next time, bye, adios, alvida. I am your host, Mr. Diplomat. See you in the next episode, where we will continue our exploration of the thrilling world of international relations.